All right, if everybody would please take notice of the exits behind the board here to your left and all the way in the back down the corridor in the event of an emergency. If you'll stand, please, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you'll remain standing just for a moment of silence for service personnel, past and present. Thank you. We have 3 public hearings on the agenda this evening, and we'll get to those in a minute. If the board members could vote on approving the minutes. We had 2 sets of minutes that were presented for our review, August 2024 and October 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, the first item on the agenda for public hearing is Semco Development Group. They've requested an adjournment to March. Mike, did you want to?
Yeah, if the board would have any questions, really, we're actually getting, and we have the information relative to the water course and so forth that was out there. We've got the survey information. We actually located the stumps and the areas of the dead trees, which I think the board wanted to basically show everything in that area where the trees have been removed.
Actually, that was a misunderstanding, I think. We did not request you to locate dead trees and stumps.
Okay, well, we have them, so.
I'm sorry you did that. I don't know why you...
Well, it was done at the time when the wetlands were located anyway, so it's like, it wasn't an extra trip.
We were only ever interested in, substantial trees.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but the point is...
That were alive.
So I received the information a few days after the submittal deadline, so I do have the information now. We plan on being back for March for a robust discussion, but we just didn't have it at the time of submittal. So I'm here if the board has any questions, if the public has any questions.
No, we're just waiting on the plans.
Yeah.
So, and at that point, we'll review them,
Right.
and we'll have them for the public to see and discuss with us then.
Understood.
All right?
Thank you.
I think I just have to add one thing.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, with the new regs in place, that's in a urban area, and the informational wetlands are shown on there, so you're going to have to run, and you
it by
can do it through
DEC.
consultant, so Mike can probably go through DEC directly, so.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm aware of the new regs.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's where we left off last time, because there was something about the Army Corps, and I had asked him, I'm sure you want to go through all this, and he had said, yes, I'm willing to go through whatever it takes to get the subdivision approved, so.
Mr. Chairman, just for the continuity of the record, you might want to just open the public hearing for the purpose of allowing anybody who came here just to make comment, and then adjourn to the next meeting date. It's
March
1 or 2 months.
20th.
Where we going?
Yeah.
You're going to need 30 or 60?
Well, March. I think it's whatever the third Thursday in March is.
It already says that on the agenda, so that's the way it should be.
Right.
A motion to open the public hearing?
So moved?
Can I have a second, Jason?
I'll second, I'm sorry.
All right, no problem. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, is there anyone who would like to approach the podium regarding Pleasant Ridge Development, Semco? Chemco or Semco? Because next month I'll say Chemco, but I'll try to be consistent. Nobody? All right, very good.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the public hearing to the March 20th.
Okay, all in favor?
You need a
Oh,
second?
second, please?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Have a good night. All right. The second item on the agenda is Duchess Contracting Corporation, subdivision, site plan, special use. They've also requested an adjournment. Brian, good evening.
It's been a while, guys.
I was gonna say, I haven't seen you in forever.
I've been hanging out in the Grange, having fun over there.
Okay.
Just to give you an update, we had a pretty comprehensive plan that we presented in front of the board, and just going through Hudson Bay Design comment letter, just dealing with some of the technical items, which is profile alignment, water sewer alignments as it relates to the new road that we're putting in. So just putting those into a 3D model and getting it ready for presentation. Took a little bit longer than we thought, but we're just dealing with that with some plan cleanup and just, plugging along with these, with the DOT and Dutchess County Water and Wastewater.
Right.
Hopefully have submission into you guys in about a week.
Yep.
And we'll give you an update for the next meeting.
I think it would be really great for the public to see the elevations and the landscaping design, the color work that you did, and we can throw it up on the screen there. When we do have the final, or, the next public hearing, when you have that.
Absolutely. And we'll bring a couple of color boards too, so you can see it after the meeting.
It's perfect.
All right.
Sounds great. So, again,
Same thing, we should
Same
open
thing,
up the
please,
meeting?
yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
okay,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone here who would like to comment? Mr. Crane, please.
The January 16 ones. I thought we would do that when people are here.
Bill Crane, 254 Gardner Hollow Road. I remember the last presentation, I asked for information that hasn't been provided on trees, and what trees are going to be cut down, and what that information on what that view would be now without the trees would be like for the people in Dalton Farms that look over it. And that was specific information that
Right.
I hope is provided.
It will be, Mr. Crane.
It will
Yep.
be?
And what I did was, I had personally gone down Van Scoy, took some pictures from Van Scoy towards the Bischoff Lane area,
Yeah.
based on your request. That information has been provided to the applicant to present, and they're going to provide information that answers your question as to what trees are going to be removed when they build that retaining wall towards the back of the property. As well.
What trees would be removed?
Yes, yep, if any,
If
yeah.
any?
right.
And you will provide information on the elevation?
Right, the distance you wanted from Van Scoy to, all of that,
The slope elevation, it could be...
So you'd like to see an elevation, is what you're saying? Like a cross-section?
I would, they go up to...
Yeah.
well, yeah, not the property beyond his. You're saying, his property and what,
Is
Yeah.
it all flat?
yeah, it's all, his property is flat all the way to the back wall, and then it climbs up towards Van Scoy.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah. And, I was actually there with one of the neighbors there. I'm sorry, what's your last name, sir? Mr. Reinhardt, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. We talked about, water and how it moves. It seems that, quite a bit of the water actually does come from the reverse driveways and the properties that slope down from Van Scoy towards
yeah, that's,
the Bischoff Lane property, and he has to treat that, which he will.
Okay.
But all of that is going to...
Okay, that's all coming.
Yeah, it's all coming. The delay is DOT and information from Dutchess County Water and Waste right now.
I would like to ask the engineer, are you okay with providing an elevation or cross-section showing the relationship or the elevations, the back part of the lot and the
Yeah,
view
we can
view shed?
cross-section right up through the site and then up the hill and just give you an idea of what's going on. I mean, kind of see, what you see out there right now with the cut that is there, there's not gonna be much past that. There will be retaining wall back there, but, you know, we'll detail it and
All right,
give you a
yeah.
couple cross-sections.
Thank you, Brian.
Mr. Chairman, the planning secretary just handed me a letter dated January 16th from Mr. Reinhardt, who's a neighbor there, who wanted to incorporate his comments into the record. And you could either do that tonight or at the next meeting, since the planning board is going to remain open,
Would you like me to read it now?
if you would like to.
Yeah, okay. It's dated January 16th, 2025.
Oh, hold on.
I was just thinking, the agenda said that this was going to be adjourned, so I
Okay.
don't want to necessarily provide a bunch of information when there's some people that wouldn't be here to
Okay.
hear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's necessarily fair to the other people that said, oh, it's adjourned, I'm not going.
You understand that,
Just
Mr.
for, you
Reinhardt?
know.
So what we're going to do, what Dan is suggesting is, rather than me read this letter tonight, since this application has been adjourned until next month, there may be a lot of other people that will attend that will want to hear what you wrote, all right? So if,
I'm sorry, is this a letter to the board?
yeah, it's for the record.
If he
Yeah.
wants to make comment in person, that would probably be more effective. He could read that
I
into
mean,
the record, but...
Submit the board letter to the board members. so-
Yeah, the letter should be given to all board members and to the applicant.
And Brian should, yeah.
To
So would you like that done?
engineer. All right, you have a copy?
No, but if you could email it, we'll
You wanna-
take a look at it
yeah?
and prepare for it.
Okay, so what we're going to do is, that's going to be scanned in and emailed to all of the board members and the engineer. And then what I'm going to do next month, when we have the actual public hearing, with the additional information that the applicant's going to bring from Department of Transportation and Dutchess County Water and Waste, we'll have a full hearing then, and that'll be read out loud.
But he's here tonight.
I was just gonna say, if he's got comments he wants to share,
He
can
can
he just
come
go
up.
up?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, the hearing's open. I mean, and if,
As long as you people have what I gave you,
okay, sir, yeah,
as long as your board members have what I gave you, then.
Sure.
We'll review the letter.
Both, right?
All right,
We'll
We'll-
review the letter.
Wait for next month.
yep, everybody will have it, they'll read it, and then next month, we'll address it directly. All right, so is there anyone else in the audience that would like to approach podium regarding this hearing? No? Okay. All right, very good. Can I have a,
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting to March 20th.
okay,
a second.
second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay. All right, the next application under public hearing is Baker Estates Road subdivision. Good evening.
We actually also would like to request an adjournment. I'm sorry, I had no idea that this was going on until yesterday, so.
Oh, so you would like it,
Yeah,
This
yes.
is wrong guys.
Baker Estates subdivision. Yep.
That's him.
Yeah, you guys sent it to us.
Are you Baker Estates?
No, we're Bailey Estate.
Bailey.
Oh,
But you sent the hearing to us.
Yeah, you're an adjoining property owner, so you're noticed because of the public hearing.
Really?
Sure.
Oh,
So he's got the 6 lots, you got 6 lots, right?
Yeah,
that's why. Okay.
yeah.
you're not presenting.
Apologies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you're just, yeah, attending his hearing was the purpose of that notice. You can stay.
I asked you that again, Jeff.
There you go. You guys can share.
For the record, planning secretary has reviewed the legal ads and the certified mailings and found them to be in order.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Do you want me to start with it?
Please, yeah, for the public, explain to them
Sure.
the location
Yep.
and everything else that,
My name's Bill Povell, I'm the engineer for the applicant. We're here tonight regarding 3 parcels that are on the west side of Baker Road. It's just to the south of the intersection of High Ridge.
bear with me 1 second. Do you need a minute, Aletha? You trying to find it?
No, I
For
got
the
it. I
screen?
just didn't want to project it until I have it.
Oh, okay.
It's you.
Oh, all right, good enough. If you want, you can, yeah, turn that so the public can see that.
Okay, so this is Baker Road here, and this is the property that's colored in green. We're here tonight, again, with 3 parcels that total over 37 acres. We have a subdivision application which would subdivide these 3 parcels into 6 building lots. All the properties are located in the R90 zone. The lots that we're proposing are in conformance with the zoning. So they meet all the zoning criteria in creating the lots. In working with the planning board at prior meetings, there was some discussion and request for creating a conservation easement to protect much of the land which is in the back of this parcel or downhill from the road. And we actually expanded it based on comments at the last meeting. So right now, over 40% of the area is now placed in a conservation easement, so that will forever be preserved with no disturbances.
That's the dark green area, right? I meant for the public, yeah.
Yeah, the
I wanted
dark
the,
green in the back, there's a
Yep.
red line here, that's the conservation easement line.
Mm-hmm.
So everything behind it is going to be preserved.
anyone here familiar with that property? No, or interested? Okay, I just wanted to know who I was talking to. Okay, good enough. Yep,
And what we propose is to keep the homes closer to Baker Road in the areas that have gentler slopes. We're proposing a stormwater management system to meet stormwater regulations. And lastly, we're proposing a shared driveway for 2 lots to minimize disturbances. And we're also proposing additional trees throughout that shared driveway corridor to mitigate other tree removal that will be required to build out the lots. And then each house will be served by an individual well and an individual septic system.
okay. Now, one of the things that I talked to Dan about is elevations and materials and that sort of thing. Often with these subdivisions, we're approving site plan and subdivision and that sort of thing, but the look, the exterior, the architecture of the buildings are not presented to us. I know you're not prepared right now to do that.
Well, typically, and I guess I didn't realize that that's a code requirement now, but typically with a subdivision, we're creating the lots.
Right.
And we don't really have the specifics on the actual home at this point. We are showing a larger sized home to show that it fits on the lot.
Right.
And we can meet all the grading requirements.
Is your plan to sell it?
The plan is to build a home and sell it, correct? That's the,
You'll be doing the building, but not
Yeah.
selling the approved plans?
I'm sorry?
You won't be selling the approved application
No.
to a developer?
The applicant intends on building the homes and then selling the homes. And then with a prospective buyer, they'll be able to select the color and the different features of the home.
Right. concern is, if you look at larger subdivisions, there's only sometimes 3 or 4 different templates for the home designs themselves. And I'm not always impressed with the design of the homes. It's a very personal decision, these things. And then there's the materials. I'm not a fan of vinyl, and there's a lot of other products out there that are comparable in price. The way the foundations are finished or not, just cinder block, exposed cinder block foundations and that sort of thing, tend to take away from, the community and the view shed. What does the board think about that? You have any thoughts on it? Because we are the Architectural Review Board as well, and once these are approved, they disappear and they don't come back before us. They end up,
But isn't that something more with a site plan?
What's your feeling on that?
Architectural review versus a
Craig and Dan?
residential subdivision? This is the first time I've ever come across something.
I've been known for that. So, yeah, I could just be,
There's a section of our code for preliminary plat is 130-20A27. And it does talk about building elevation drawings or as otherwise required by the planning board. So it's really up to the planning board. It isn't necessarily a typical practice for a subdivision. He's really here to prove the viability of the lots.
right.
And then whatever, if they sell a couple of them, some other builder, so that's typically my point of view on it. It's, the ARB has jurisdiction on commercial sites.
Okay.
For site plans particularly, and we always pay attention to that with the lighting and the signage. But for residential, it hasn't been something that this board has done.
Can I sign an executive order right now? Make that happen? Have a little oversight?
It's it's a board discussion. I'm not here to say one way or the
No,
other.
all right. Well, do you feel there's any reason to involve ourselves?
I personally don't. I think the feasibility of the lots, we've talked about the environmental impact, the trees, the view shed. He's encroached or improved the conservation area. As far as I'm concerned, I'm satisfied.
And yourself?
I mean, I would echo your concerns of making sure that these houses are aesthetically pleasing to the community, consistent in their architecture, and using of genuine materials.
Right.
But by the same token, I think we're limited in the fact that we only sort of have that, my interpretation of the zoning laws, that the ARB has that right to review that over the town center stuff. But for these zones, I don't believe we have a purview of that. And so I just, it's well noted, I think, to say.
Right. No, but I understand. I'm not looking to make this any more.
Planning board is interested in that you're doing architecturally pleasing buildings and such, but I don't think it's a requirement.
And when somebody's spending the money that they're spending now on these homes and these lots, typically, they're selecting, in my opinion, homes that are attractive and have architectural features that are pleasing. And I know with LMD, they do build attractive looking homes.
Oh, okay. What's the name of the builder?
LMD.
LMB? Great.
They're the same ones that are here for Savannah as well.
Excellent. No, that's nice. Yeah, I have a personal problem because I live in Dalton Farms, and yeah, the templates that they used for some of the homes, little sketch.
Right, and here too, it's a lot different than that because if you picked, for example, 3 different homes like they did in Dalton Farms, or
Right.
4 different, that's almost all the lots. We're only proposing 6 homes.
Of course, right. And I understand that. I do. And I certainly don't want to make it any more of an onerous process than it is for you. Anyway, thank you.
Just,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, the Architectural Review Board standards are set forth in Chapter 93.
Okay.
And mostly have to do with landmark, historical designations, things of that nature. And traditionally, they also have to do with site plan and special use permit projects.
Also, Chapter 2.
Chapter 2.
Okay, well, we're not prepared really to get into that now. Maybe, Aletha, could you send that to us? Just email that to the board members,
I can do that.
please? Oh, thank you, yeah, and we'll take a look at it.
It says the functions of the ARB are any buildings and/or structures in commercial, industrial, hamlet, or town center zone.
Okay, right, so that's consistent with what you originally said. I thought he was saying that it went beyond that. That's great. So, is there anybody from the public that would like to speak?
So I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
You would? Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Crane?
I have some questions. This is like basic information that maybe you have, but I haven't been able to glean somehow from the public hearings. First of all, how many homes, they mentioned the number of lots and something else, but I couldn't do the quick arithmetic. How many homes are we talking about?
6.
6 homes altogether?
6 homes.
Okay, thank you. And how many trees will be removed?
Don't have the exact number, but we did provide a tree plan, an existing condition plan with all the trees that will need to be removed.
And how do I see that?
We'll
Can-
put it...
Can you bring that
Aletha,
up on
can
the
you
screen?
put it up on the screen?
What page it is?
The existing condition page. The next one. Next one. Right there.
If you'd like, or you can, well, do you have more...
I can't even see
Well,
that, so...
do you have more questions, Mr. Crane?
Yeah.
Why don't you go through those?
So we don't know, I don't know the number, we don't know the number of...
Well, I'm going to have him, he'll approach the screen and he'll explain it.
Okay,
to
and
you.
a quick comment
So
on
we
that.
do have a table here as well, and I can give you the page of these plans to review.
Thank you. The other question is, it was just a quick comment that he will be replacing the trees. Are they mature trees? What is the diameter of the trees? We know that replacing trees, if you're replacing mature trees, you're losing you're just, what, are we going to have saplings, or what are we going to have? You lose the benefit of the older, mature trees with respect to soil erosion, wildlife, carbon absorption, all kinds of values. It's not, as somebody who's concerned about trees, it's not satisfying to me to hear they will be replaced with new plantings. That'll be years before they can take over the function of the mature tree, if that's what it is, but I don't know what the trees, the public and with environmental concerns doesn't know. I do know that there was an issue with the water. Is the board, there was some sort of stream or something that pours down, has that been handled?
There's a culvert that does...
A culvert, has that been
Right.
handled by the, I hear that gets pretty forceful at times.
I'll have him address that question
Okay,
as
that's
well.
been, by the easement is taking care of that? Because I heard it was really,
Yeah, it's all built into the SWIP.
okay, I heard that was pretty torrential. And at the last meeting, there were questions about Lot 6, that, there were questions whether, is that, what would be 6, what's Lot 6?
Oh, the big lot?
It was that the applicant was still finding or locating all the trees, which he did.
On Lot 6?
On
Yeah.
Lot 6, yep.
So there's, okay, thanks.
Sure, I'll have him address those two questions. The
How many trees?
trees and the culvert.
A culvert. And the Lot 6 is handled by,
In the tree, your question was regarding the trees on that lot. All right, sir? And here, what I'll do is I'll give this to him. Where's the,
The one with the trees on it? This is not clear.
This is after that big elevation,
what was that, Jason?
one that looked like a fly shade. Not high, so this thing.
We don't know how to look at
It's after this one right here.
those.
Next one.
This one, yeah, there were, there was an existing,
Sorry. You saw all the dots too.
yeah. This is actually more clear because it's showing the area they're opening up. But that's-
All right. If you could please address those comments.
As far as the trees, we've located all the trees that are 8 inches in diameter or bigger, and we've located all the trees within 25 to 50 feet of the limited disturbance that we're proposing. So we went beyond the area that we're proposing to disturb. There are quite a number of trees. The property is heavily wooded. In order to grade and build the driveways, the house, septic systems, the infrastructure needed to build out a lot, removing these trees is unavoidable. To mitigate that, we've proposed a conservation easement, because typically when somebody, as we all know, has a house or a lot, and you build the house and you do the minimal grading for the drainage and so forth, they have the ability, once they have their certificate of occupancy, that they can go and clear more trees for lawn and so forth. So by us proposing the conservation easement, it limits that ability to clear or disturb more trees. Secondly, we are proposing a number of trees along the shared driveway to lots 5 and 6, where we have
Tree removes plant.
more extensive disturbance to develop the driveway, so we're also mitigating the trees by adding more back. And typically with any homeowner, they do landscaping, individual landscaping to their taste, and they add trees and so forth on new homes. So that's also something else to consider. So we feel like we've addressed the tree removal situation. As far as the drainage, we've designed a pretty detailed stormwater management system to capture runoff from the development and treat it in accordance to New York State DEC standards. We've located the houses closer to the lot where a lot of the drainage actually drains towards Baker Road, which is how our stormwater system has been designed. So also by proposing the conservation easement in the back, it's limiting any disturbance or clearing back there. So that also is a benefit for stormwater management. And as far as Lot 6 is concerned, we've incorporated the existing lot for Lot 6 into the subdivision plan, because currently right now it's landlocked and it has an access easement for access. So what we're doing is creating a legal lot by providing, by taking land off the main parcel and giving it to this Lot 6 so that it has road frontage. And by doing that, it allows us to build a shared driveway, so there's a lot less disturbance building a separate driveway to that lot. So that we're improving not only the zoning requirement, providing frontage, we're also minimizing disturbance by doing this in comparison to the existing condition. So we feel that's a great improvement. All
So
right?
this plan here, it's existing trees, but did you show the removal? Do you have a table that shows?
We just noted that all the trees within the disturbance area need to be removed.
Does that meet your comment in our code? Satisfactory?
The code doesn't necessarily say that you have to have a table, but, I
Okay.
mean, they're shown on the map, so.
Okay.
You can see where they are.
Through the area of disturbance, yeah.
Yep.
So, Mr. Crane, the code in this type of application doesn't require a table or plantings, all right? What it shows you are the trees that are being removed in the area of disturbance.
Is this hearing going to be continued?
We don't know yet. We'll get to that.
I've never heard the board.
If you could-
I've never heard the engineer or board be.
Could you do me a favor, Mr. Crane? Do you want, yeah, just so the mic can pick up your voice and your comments. Sorry to make you get up.
The code, I guess, takes priority, but common sense also has weight. I haven't heard how many trees are going to be cut down. We have no number of how many trees are going to be cut down. Am I supposed to count these on the map?
I misspoke.
Huh?
I misspoke. We have required tables. Like,
You've asked for them.
I've asked for them.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was incorrect. I was confusing town
Okay.
center projects, but we do require them in certain circumstances, so.
Is that something you could provide, given that you did survey the trees within the disturbed areas?
Yes.
Can you give us a count? Okay. So yes, we'll get that information to you.
Thank you, Mr. Crane. Thank you for straightening me out. So, are there any other questions or concerns regarding this application right now? No? All right.
Anyone else
Dan?
who wants to speak?
Would you like to take over?
For what voice I have left, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
You know, they've done a good job with everything on here, to be honest with you. You know, the incorporation of the Lot 6 actually is what kicked them into the stormwater regs. So they're actually doing a lot of stormwater practices they otherwise would not have had to have done as well. So there's a real good benefit for that. They increased the size of the conservation easement after last time's discussion by about 1.8 acres. And it provided a minimum of 100 feet from any of the intermittent water course at the bottom. They've added those trees. Bill, you know, you could also just say how many of those trees are proposed there. I think it's 30-some odd trees that
Yep.
you're proposing as well, so.
We
you
do
know, I
have
mean,
a planting table, which that's listed in there. It's listed on the plan.
I thought so too, and for whatever
It's on
reason,
the
I just
grade,
couldn't
it's on
find
the
it.
grading plan,
Yeah, you, oh.
GU1.
You talked about it last time you were here, and I just couldn't find it just now when
Okay.
I was looking, but my screen.
So there is a
small.
planting table,
Yes.
because, I was under the impression that you were leaving that up to the landowners.
See, this is the grading plan, and here's the planting schedule.
Okay.
That's the number.
Oh, there it is, yep.
All right.
We're proposing 3-inch caliper trees.
Here they are, yeah.
So there's 33 proposed trees. Mixture of deciduous and
Oh, no, this is,
an evergreen.
not on this one. Good,
Otherwise, he's not able to really do the
yeah.
infiltration testing that
right.
he's proposing right now. The winter conditions don't allow it, so. But he's provided enough calculations and information to, you know, to give us a real feel-good on the stormwater measures that he's implementing here.
So there's a mixture, Mr. Crane. I'll give you this as well, all right? There's 8 red maples, 7 red oaks, 8 red cedars, and 10 eastern white pines. The size, quite small. The first are, what are those? That's not height, is it?
3 and 3.5.
3.5 calipers.
That's actually very
That's
big.
pretty,
the
that's
calipers.
pretty, that's standard for proposed trees for
It's actually
development
bigger than
sites.
standard.
Probably,
I usually spec
yeah,
like
you're
1.5
right. Well,
or
you would
2
know.
inch. Yeah.
So what is the, why are the heights here for these red cedars versus
That's how you
the
buy them.
calipers? Oh, yeah?
That's how you buy them, yeah. They sell them by the height for those 2 trees, and the other ones they sell by caliper.
And that's the diameter?
Yeah, the diameter.
Okay. So the diameter of the red maple and the red oaks are going to be 3 to 3.5 inches. The red cedars and the eastern white pines are going to be 6 to 7 feet for the cedars and 8 to 10 feet for the eastern white pines
In height.
in height. So what was that?
He wants to know the number of trees.
Yeah, I told.
33.
So there's a total,
At this,
What's there now?
at this point, we're talking about the mitigation plan.
yeah.
So, but
He's gonna come back with a table for the ones that are coming down, all right? Would you like a copy of that? The mitigation plan? Okay, all right, very good.
And there is a large number of trees that are gonna be removed,
Right,
and that's evident on the plan.
right, within the disturbance
Within the
area.
disturbance area, correct.
So that's what we would like.
Yep, and I can add that, I will add that to the planting table. I'll provide an existing count.
And it's, the diameter is 12 inches and up?
8 inches.
8 inches and up,
So it's quite a number.
It's a lot.
yeah.
There's a lot of trees on that survey, yeah.
Like I mentioned, the entire parcel is heavily wooded.
Now,
we need to ask if anybody else has any.
yeah, but what I'm asking you is what benefit would that serve us?
To
To
know
know
the
the number of trees that are coming down in the area of disturbance.
I mean, Mr. Crane is probably asking that because it gets to an understanding of what the impact of the impact to trees on the site. And
So-
it's that simple.
And maybe what you're getting at is you'd want more mitigation, is that right, Mr. Crane?
No, I was hoping they would limit.
Please. If it's too uncomfortable for you, you can speak from there. Yeah, all right. Are we being onerous? No, are we being onerous?
No, I'm shot.
Okay.
I got the flu or something.
I got you. All right.
Why don't you go?
I was,
Why don't we, just 1 second, 1 second.
Yeah, bear with us.
If
Do
you're
you
not
feel
feeling
like,
well, I mean, that's fine.
All right.
We can take it from there.
yeah? Go ahead, Dan. Yeah. All right. Feel better, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr.
I
Crane.
just want to know to what extent we're preserving our precious woodlands, and it sounds like we're not, and I want to be able to tell people
Right.
the magnitude of it, not a lot, not the words "a lot." I want to know how many trees are coming down. It sounds like so far we've heard many. What's the magnitude of this? And sure, homeowners, once they buy it, they can clear the trees, at least some of them. But the decision has not been made to let this plan go through. So we're talking something, if we want to protect our woodlands, and I think we do, then the magnitude of it, some precision would seem to be in order. It's not, we know precision with respect to other matters, you could give me numbers, but for some reason, we're lacking the specificity when it comes to what's most valuable to me here, or one of the most valuable things, which is the trees.
Understood.
Okay.
And by the way, not just to you, but to many people in our community are concerned about trees.
I'm just-
Yeah, no, so, and if I could speak to that, as often happens with these types of applications, by the time they reach this point, we've already discussed it several times. And this first came to our purview years ago, actually. I don't know if it was 2 years ago. And my first impression was, oh my God, how could they possibly, this is a fully wooded lot with lots of steep slopes. So, however, I always have to temper my judgment based on people's right to develop their property. People have a right to develop their property. That's a right given to them by New York State law. So, when they first came to us, I think there was 7 or 8 lots, or even more than that, and that was on the original parcel. That wasn't with the extra parcel. And so we were able to negotiate it down to 5 lots on the one parcel plus the one additional lot, being a total of 6 lots. We've also, the best we can do is to try to minimize the impacts and to mitigate the impacts. We can't say to a property owner, you can't develop your lot, you can't have any lots, you can't have any houses on your lots.
You can if it violates environmental standards. It's gonna create harm.
Actually, we can't.
You can.
Yeah.
Well,
But you can't develop, if you're on all wetlands, you can't.
well, yes, but we're,
So
yeah,
it's not true.
we're not talking about wetlands.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Rob says,
Yeah. I mean, I don't want this to be a debate, I'm just giving my point. And what we've done and what the applicant has done is to create conservation easement to protect the most sensitive areas of the site. And there's 2 types of impact. There's the impact during construction when the builder builds these lots. And then there's the rest for eternity, the people who own these lots. We are going to be protecting these sensitive areas in perpetuity. So we've made a lot of great gains on this application. I don't think everyone's going to be totally happy with the level of impacts to the trees, but the applicant is making an attempt to mitigate the loss to the trees, and we're working with him on that.
And it's not only the trees, he went through great lengths to satisfy our steep slopes laws, did a very good job of that.
Increase the conservation.
Not all of the, yeah, exactly. Did you want to say that out loud, Jason?
No, I was just saying there was an increase in the conservation area too, which I think the impact towards the stream area and everything was also beneficial. So
Right.
there was some give and take based on the input that everybody was given.
And it's a completely different design in terms of conservation easement. We were only going to conserve the triangular section of this entire lot. He very creatively incorporated all of the steep slopes of the full length of the lot, which it's larger and it preserves those and protects the steep slopes and all the trees within them there. So it's kind of a very well developed plan when it comes to the environment as opposed to what we've seen previously. So the only thing that we'd like to see, and now, is it, yeah, everything 8 inches and above in the area of a disturbance that you're going to come down, that you're going to take down. If you could create a table for those and maybe just strike through those on the plans with an X on the ones that are going to come down.
Okay.
That's typically what we've had in the past. Now, are you looking for any further approvals at this point?
We feel we've really went through these, this design and the plans thoroughly and provided all the information. We were hoping that we'd reach a point where we can move forward towards a preliminary approval, which would allow us to go to the health department to start working on approval of the septic systems.
Now,
Our engineer recommended, since we've circulated, right?
Was there an issue with a rear lot on this
Yeah.
application? Yeah, I recall that.
No, that's,
Is that a different?
that's a different one.
Oh, okay. Aletha, do you recall any issues on the comment letter that would prevent us from going forward, other than the tree removal information?
No, if you so desire, you can direct the applicant to address the town engineer's letter dated, his comment and review letter dated February 19th. And we have verified that all agencies have been received circulation of our intent, of the board's intent to be lead agency, so you can declare yourself, make a motion to declare yourself lead agency
Okay.
amongst the two motions that you should probably be considering, and then adjourn the matter for public hearing.
For next month.
Can I,
All right?
in reviewing Dan's letter, if you really read through it, we've pretty much addressed everything.
Right.
A lot of the items that we can't address at this point are more technical. And that's, you know, a lot of it's like getting health department approval, those types of things. So there's not much for me to respond to at this point. I don't see the plan changing from what it is based on Dan's comments. So, and as far as tonight's concerned, we will add the appropriate table for the existing trees. So beyond that, there wouldn't be much more information that we can provide with the plans that we already have, other than these things.
All right, so I think we just need to direct him to comply with any remaining comments, and please provide us with the table of the removals, and we need to adjourn the meeting or close the meeting, or?
Okay.
Declare it lead agency.
Right.
Declaring the agency.
So why don't we start off with closing the public hearing? We have a
Make a
motion.
motion to close the public hearing.
All right.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, Aletha, we're going to direct him to complete the table. All right. And then the second item was the other comments that have been left unfinished in Dan's comment letter.
And then I'll make a motion to declare lead agency.
Okay?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
You too.
All right. There we go. Yes, for this application, the public hearing is closed. He's going to submit the table. Well, it was information that you
We're
asked
giving,
for.
you asked for it, we're giving you the table.
I asked for it, the one thinking that I would be able to comment on it. I
Right,
asked for it for my
Yeah.
personal whimsical curiosity.
right.
Would you like to, I mean, we just closed the public hearing, but I'll allow
I'm
you,
going to be able to try to persuade you any further.
well, it's,
No, I thought you asked for it because you wanted to report to other people the magnitude of the trees.
yeah. Right. Have a good night, thank you.
Well, that's why we wanted to get it for you, Bill.
I held the hope.
Bill, I don't think we're going to agree on what you constitute as impact and their level of mitigation, and so that's okay.
Yeah.
We can agree to disagree.
Right.
Disagree,
Yeah.
but I just want to put down for the record.
Right.
Yeah.
That I see the failure to be able to know the exact number as an indication of indifference.
Well, we have a tree removal law, all right, and he has rights that are beyond, what you're looking for.
No,
So,
he does not. There is a.
I'm not...
No,
Mr.
but I just want to clarify, we're meeting exactly what you asked for. You wanted us to provide you with the tree
I asked you, are you
removes.
going to continue it? And then I asked the information.
No, well,
How does it do
Mr. Crane, if you'd like to get at the mic so people can actually hear what you have to say clearly, and it's in the record.
Okay.
So just to clarify and correct,
Okay.
you did ask whether or not the
Okay.
hearing was going to be...
I asked if the hearing would be
Right.
open.
Right.
I asked for the number of trees.
Right.
I did not get an answer to the number of the trees. I thought it was implicit that that we would keep the hearing open until we had a number, since a specific number is just a general requirement. I've never heard the board not want to know the number before.
Well,
And so suddenly we don't know the number. I don't know if it meets the zoning requirement or not. I don't know how many there are. I don't know all I know is there's a lot.
Well, the drawings do show the area where the trees are being removed, so we can make an assessment based on, I know you're rolling your eyes, and that's not satisfying for you, for that response, but the drawings are showing enough detail for us to make a decision to the level of impact. It may be, you may not agree with that, but I do agree with you. We'll get you the number, and then we're trying to include
Okay,
that.
okay.
And the public hearing is closed, but your comments were heard. You did get
Okay, I
your
just
comments
wanna make
on record.
One more comment. I take it that the inability, with so much specificity with respect to every other area, the inability to specify the number of trees, I take that as an indication of indifference on part of the board. Now, individually, you may have your own feelings about it, but I take that, that's how I take it.
Well, how
That's
do you-
the only way I can take it.
Well-
That nobody gives a darn
well, what I don't
about,
understand is
because you
that-
don't know the number. You
No,
asked-
allow me to finish talking, all right? Now, what I don't understand is that we complied with your request, and the number of trees are going to be tabled, and you'll have that information, number one. Number two, when you asked me whether or not the hearing was going to remain open or closed, that is not a decision that I make. That is a decision that the board makes. And I told you, I'm not sure, that will be a board decision, give or take, all right? So, the board decided to close the public hearing. You're getting the number of trees that are going to be removed from the area of disturbance. You indicated that you wanted that for informational purposes. That's why we move forward with that, all right? Now, he is not violating any codes. If he was violating codes, this application would not be moving forward right now. So if you would like to change the code or tighten the law, you pull the information about our policy regarding tree removal and submit a proposal to the town board. That would be the correct way to handle it. But we're fulfilling our job here, and we have to consider the rights of the applicant.
If I may add, Mr. Chairman, we have a tree removals code.
Tree removal law,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's 155-53.1, tree removal. It's very detailed, and we could simply just direct the applicant to make sure that he complies with the letter of the code by making notes and notations on the proposed, on the final map.
Right, and that's what the table, that's the last item on the table that he'll be addressing.
So this
All right,
board
Mr.
really
Crane?
is.
Not all right, but I stand.
Well, I mean,
by-
does that- does that-
I said what I thought I was asking, that's why I asked, is it going to continue? And I-
Right, understood.
This board has to take a hard look and at the impacts, and I think you've made your record.
Very good. So the next item on the agenda for discussion is Green Hill Farms Holding.
Good evening.
Evening.
My name is John Tamburino. I'm the project surveyor for Green Hill. This was kind of thrown in my lap last minute by the engineers. I guess ultimately tonight, after reviewing Dan Kohler's comments, the engineer hoped that we could get the town board to lead agency and get to a public hearing next
This board,
month.
yeah, the planning board, right.
Yes, sorry.
How many of the comments have actually been satisfied in Dan's letter that would get us there?
So
I mean, that would be a primary concern right off the bat, right?
the comments from Dan Kohler,
Yes.
so briefly reviewing, it seems like, and the engineer said that most of it is just some small technical stuff that we can easily add in the next couple of weeks before the submittal date. But for the most part, everything, has been satisfied or partly satisfied, minus a few technical additives to the plan.
I mean, again, I understand that what you initially presented as far as this got dumped on you, but like, for example, second page, there's a discrepancy with the layout of the proposed lot 2. Coordinate the
Okay.
plans and a variance would be required. I wouldn't consider that technical, no?
No, that's actually that's a showstopper.
Yes.
Right, which you've already been spoken to about, right? That doesn't have the sufficient frontage,
Yes.
which is 100 feet, and it's
I-
considered a rear lot.
Right, which is not, so it's either a variance or
Or you
talking
take it
to
off the
owner, or
plan.
we're just getting
Right.
rid of that lot. Yes,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a determination letter that was written by the zoning administrator that you'll get tomorrow or
Okay.
next week.
Okay,
It details, the fact that Lot 2 is considered a rear lot under our code. And those rear lots are only permissible in R90 and R135 zoning districts, and this is
Okay.
R45. So you would have to get, you
and
might want to,
I
think
think,
about
I think Ernie Martin, the engineer, he was, it used to be a flag lot there, or a rear lot, as you call it, and I think years ago it was consolidated, and they were hoping to bring it back kind of as the same, so,
yeah, it was in a 1999 subdivision,
yeah,
which has remained undeveloped. That lot remained undeveloped from that approval. So,
Sure, yeah.
you're bound by today's code.
I understand.
So this is going to be a coordinated review with the zoning board
Yeah,
of appeals.
if they elect to even go that route. They may change the design of Lot 2, I have no idea, but that would require new mapping.
So that impacts our declaration, right,
Yeah. It does, so,
for this evening? Do you know what direction you're headed in? Because we need to make a motion, declare ourselves lead agency. Would that,
Ideally, they
Right.
want to keep the lot 2.
so you'll be going before the zoning board of appeals?
I believe so,
yeah,
yes.
we'll get the determination letter.
Yeah, but if I'm getting a determination letter tomorrow,
Okay.
I'd certainly like to read it.
This board actually is required to give it an advisory opinion to the ZBA.
Oh,
How is that done?
If they're
Well-
seeking a waiver.
How is that done, Craig?
they're seeking a waiver of the frontage.
No, I'm asking
Yeah.
how they get the,
So, to be honest with you, we've never done that
No.
before here. We've never had to, but I'll give you the legal opinion as soon as I do the research on that, but I would like to see if if the applicant's going to actually go
Yeah.
forward with Lot 2.
So my
Develop
suggestion
that.
is that we don't do anything tonight.
No, that's a
So-
suggestion of the town engineer as well.
Right.
Kind of how I thought it was going to go.
Right.
Yeah.
What's that?
again, it's not trying to.
No.
it's just- it's a-
I'm not
it's a-
offended.
All right.
I get it.
Okay.
It's,
All right. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Didn't mean to
actually,
jump in there.
I think he
That's
did
the
it,
first thing that jumped
he
out.
did request that
I'm
you,
glad you did. You knew
he
that.
recommended that you
were a little
declare
more acquainted with
lead
it than I
agency.
was. This subdivision doesn't look like the last
Green Hill?
revision.
Yeah. this
Of
is-
Green Hill.
Yeah, I actually did recommend lead agency. Hold on, sir.
Was that before or after the discovery of the rear lot? That was after.
No, it was before. He considered that the rear lot as well, but in his recommendation that you declare yourself lead agency for a coordinated review of the unlisted action.
So they can get the letters out in time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can move forward with that.
All right, you make a motion.
Okay.
You may wish to do that.
Make a motion
And that's
for
in
what?
spite of the fact that
For lead agency?
he's not sure
Because it's going to be a coordinated review.
anyway.
Yeah.
So, all right.
What would be
Very
the
good.
benefit of us being lead as opposed to the zoning?
Sorry?
What would be the benefit for us to be the lead versus?
It's
Secret
only,
review
yeah,
is
it's
the-
only the one lot, Jason, that doesn't have the frontage. It's
I understand.
under, yeah, so.
But secret review has to take place.
By us declaring ourselves lead agency, that gives, and it's coordinated review with the zoning board of appeals, so
So
they'll.
the ZBA can
they'll weigh
actually
in.
adopt the findings of this board's secret determination.
But we need to declare ourselves lead agency so that the other agencies can be informed. And we can get their feedback, so.
I never see it, a problem declaring lead
No,
agency. It's
it's
a
not.
minor thing.
Just curious.
I'll make a motion to declare lead agency.
Okay.
I guess I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so,
So the motion passes to declare lead agency on the green.
Do we have to notify the applicant even though he left?
Application.
He'll
all
figure
right,
it out.
Pizzuto lot line.
Maybe Aletha or someone should tell him. No.
Coordinated review.
Okay.
Unlisted action. 3-0.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. So, for the record, Brian Hildenbrand. Since our last meeting, we prepared the plat for the lot line change. We've taken the comments received by the board and by the consultants regarding easements, the railroad crossing in the rear. The plat now has been revised to show that. The big ticket item at our last meeting was about the ownership. The applicant has retained an attorney to work through that. It's our understanding that it's not insurmountable, it just takes time, so we're working through that process to straighten out the living trust and making sure all the documents are in order to proceed. So, with that said, and with our revised plat, we'll, move forward towards a conditional resolution, if that was possible. It seemed like, based on Dan's comments, that was an option.
Okay, so, right now, you got your reply back, for the use of the bridge, right?
Yeah, we always had it,
Yeah.
we've had that on, now we've documented it on the plat.
Right. So, to grant preliminary subdivision approval, grant waivers, 30-25. The other item is discuss the standards for the Aquifer Overlay District and consider authorizing town professional consultants to prepare a draft resolution of the conditional final approval for future consideration.
I mean, I was good with 1 and 2, but the last 2 I need help with.
Yep, so, Craig, would you like us to move forward with granting preliminary subdivision approval?
Well, if the board sees it fit,
I don't have a problem, because you've already,
you want to go around and see if there's any questions before you make that
Yeah.
motion.
I had no question.
any,
I don't, I think that he's cleared up that one issue about access to the back lot, so
right,
I don't have any other issues.
okay, have a motion?
I'll make a motion to grant preliminary subdivision approval.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, 130-25, what is the waiver that you're requesting?
I believe that is the drawing scale that the...
Yeah, the scale.
Yeah, the
Exactly.
property's so
Right.
large that it won't fit on.
I remember
the sheet.
reading that in the letter. I have a motion to
I'll make a motion to grant waiver
Waive.
from 130-25A.
Right.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And discuss the standards for the Aquifer Overlay District.
Do we need to bring that up from the code?
Yeah, I know in the site plans, we,
155-12.
it's not shown on the plat, but in my original site plans, but all the notes were outlined.
Right.
Again, the only physical construction is the new tear down of the existing, mobile home and construction of the new single-family house. The rest of this has all been a paper exercise.
Right. There's very little disturbance involved with this.
Do we need to review it?
Yeah, do you have a copy of the code?
Yeah.
It should be in there.
And it's 155.
It's 155-12, and the standards are set forth, it's subsection D.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
5 standards.
Yes. Standards, no proposed action within the Aquifer Overlay District shall be approved unless the reviewing board or official finds that based upon available information, analysis, and evidence, the proposed action will not appreciably alter the subsurface flow of groundwater to private water wells and existing and potential public water supply wells. Appreciably degrade, this is the second one, the quality of the...
One by one, and we can have the engineer comment about each of these
Okay.
standards, all right?
So, in terms of appreciably altering the surface of the groundwater.
Right, we're not increasing the use where there's an existing well there now, that we're not.
There's no construction going on.
Right.
This is a subdivision, right. Appreciably degrade the quality of the groundwater through the introduction of sewage waste, stormwater runoff, liquid chemicals, petroleum products, dissolved metals, or other toxic substances.
Right, the only applicable item would be the septic, which we're going to get approved by the county health department.
Appreciable increase in the long-term risk of groundwater contamination through the sitting, establishment, or expansion of uses which store, transport, or utilize significant quantities of material which is potentially harmful to groundwater quality.
It's not applicable.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
He said not applicable.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing that's going to be stored,
Right.
transported,
Or
on
you-
property.
Appreciably increase the long-term risk of groundwater contamination through the introduction of relatively small quantities of hazardous or toxic substances which, over a period of time, may accumulate in groundwater.
Yeah, not applicable, there's no proposed hazardous material handling or storage.
Appreciably increase the risk of groundwater contamination through the removal of soil, sandstone, or gravel, which provides a protective mantle for groundwater, or which is part of the geologic deposits made up of the town's aquifers.
There's no major earthwork involved.
Right, no major earthwork.
Very good. You passed. All right. So we discussed the standards for the Aquifer Overlay District. Consider authorizing town professional consultants to prepare a draft resolution of conditional final approval for future consideration. All right. Any issues with us
Yeah, it would require you passing a motion
Drafting a
to
resolution?
authorize
Okay.
and require the town professional consultants to prepare a draft resolution.
Okay, you have a motion?
So moved.
All right.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Can you just specify in detail what the motion is?
So the motion is to grant, could you tell me as I repeat it?
Yeah, it would be a motion authorizing
Yes?
town professional consultants.
Town professional
All
consultants.
right, no, I see, it's that sentence you're reading, right? So
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
I'm going to
Go
make a
ahead.
motion to authorize the town professional consultants to prepare a draft resolution of conditional final approval for future consideration.
I had a reset, yep. All right, and it
And
was seconded.
seconding that updated
Yep.
explanation.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. There we go.
All right, you got preliminary.
4 out of 4.
Plat, so-
All right, have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So, all right, Cedar Developers LLC.
Back again. Brian Stokosa Engineering. Have the Cedar Developers parcel. It's coming up on the screen here. 72 acres. It's the piece that's right across from the intersection of Greenhaven Road and Beekman Road. There it is. The parcel's wooded. It used to have an existing farmhouse on it. It had some farming operation, in the 1930s along the front. This is the piece across the street from the other application on for tonight that had the drainage issue coming across Beekman Road. So obviously you can tell from this map there's some grade to this piece. It goes from roughly 200 foot in elevation difference from front to back. So that's from south to north. There's 2 pretty big drainage ravines on each side of the parcel with basically like a ridge in the middle. That's where the proposed road is. When we laid this out, we took steep slopes into account and tried to avoid them at all possible costs. If you look at the environmental mapper, it shows that if you can see it to the east, that it's identified as a stream. So when the applicant was in a due diligence period, we did soil feasibility. We also had Mike Nowicki on site. And we actually had him on site when it was during that rainy period last year. And he walked that site up and down, and there was actually no running water at the bottom of those ravines. Now, understand that, during heavier weather, during peak conditions, there obviously is an issue there. So we're here tonight just to kind of discuss the layout. It's going to be a proposed town road. There's 22 lots. Water will be provided via well. I have on-site septic. I think what happens is we have the gravel mine, the old former gravel mine across the street. So there's a lot of gravel in this area. So I think what happens during normal rains, it comes down the ravine and it gets to the bottom portion, which is toward Beekman Road, and actually infiltrates into the ground. We've done soil testing as part of due diligence, and it's great material at the bottom of the site. So I think that's what's happening. I think the water's getting in the ground. And then when you have these peak conditions, it obviously can't absorb as fast as it's coming down the mountain. And it comes across Beacon Road. That's when we have those issues. We have the undersized pipe, yada, yada. So what we were trying to do was, obviously we were in step 1 of a lot, was just to get this in the board, get some initial comments from the town consultants, and basically take it from there. But the thought process was to try to basically keep our water within ourselves, treat it with stormwater facilities, and then anything on either side of us, try to capture it and discharge it to the lower stream corridor. So basically taking it away from the applicant's parcel across the street, trying to divert some of that peak flow from actually making it to Beacon Road and kind of route it through our site to the lower stream. Obviously, there's a lot in play. There's a lot going on here. So I know Dan put together a pretty good letter on the application. So DEC laws have changed specific to wetlands and water courses. It happened, I think, just before the new year. So the guidance on those DEC regulations is poor at best as far as explaining the actual process of DEC review. So obviously we're reaching out to DEC. It's going to be coordinated with that department. We'll walk the site with the DEC to determine what that ditch line is classified as. If it is classified as a stream, then obviously we'll have to look at this project different, but just based upon what we're hearing from our biologists, that it's not considered a stream based upon its vegetation. We obviously will defer to DEC, they are the boss, but again, this is step one to get this in front of the board. The Beekman Springs project is to our west and to our south. As part of that subdivision, there was a intersection improvement that was proposed that involved a lane widening on Greenhaven Road and a traffic light to be installed at that intersection. So Collier's Engineering was the traffic consultant for that project, and we worked with them prior to submitting to the board to, one, provide us a traffic analysis for a potential subdivision. I believe we initially thought 26 lots, but with this layout, based upon environmental concerns, we're at 22 right now. That could change. But we aligned our intersection with the future improvement to the Beekman Springs subdivision, so we are lined up directly with that improvement. And what the traffic report is telling us is based upon our subdivision, we would not need to make an improvement to that intersection based upon our lot count. But when and if Beekman Springs does come online and does get built, that we align our intersection with their proposed improvement. As we move forward with this project and we see where it lays out, density-wise, our report will be further refined, because when they did the Beekman improvement, they didn't take into account the subdivision across the street. So we would have to modify that improvement plan for Beekman Springs to incorporate our subdivision entrance across the street. So what that would entail is probably just spacing the light poles out slightly different, because where they're currently approved is we're going to have pavement there and curbing. So it'd be upon us is, obviously to make adjustments for that future plan, but we wanted to at least get in front of that because traffic is a concern. We know drainage is a concern in this area, so we tried to incorporate preliminary methods of controlling runoff, because we know this is a sensitive area, just based upon the previous public hearings that we've been through with similar projects. But basically just getting this in front of the board tonight, we're not seeking any action, but just kind of starting the process. We received Dan's letter. We have no issue with what he's brought up and the steps that we have to take. Step one, obviously DEC, coordinating that.
Right.
And I think that's number one. Once we get some input from them, obviously we're back in front of the board, but we probably aren't going to be back in front of the board until we have solid direction from DEC on the classifications of those ditch lines.
Brian, can I just ask one question? So, the existing lot, the way it is, and how it's full of, obviously growth and everything like that, you wipe out, obviously for developmental purposes, access road, lots, not drainage, the septic systems and so on and everything. Take away that means, that natural barrier to prevent water flow down, where we already have a situation at the bottom where it gets to a point and then overflows. How could we possibly, because the idea is not putting it at somebody else's property, you have to mitigate that. And considering the descent of the property from top to bottom, that seems like a pretty monumental task with 26 homes.
Yeah, it's a starting point. DEC code just came out, was just revised. They have a new general permit as it relates to stormwater. So the methodology is to treat individually at your home site before it has a chance to go off-site, and then obviously treat further down the line with stormwater infiltration, stormwater basins. So, I mean, drainage is the key on this one, and traffic. So it starts at the house, get it in the ground, treat it, and then control your peak before it runs off your property. It's the same drainage concept that's in play. We have to meet New York State DEC guidelines. So there will be a thorough review by the town engineer. Again, it's a starting point where we end up. The layout could change once we hear from DEC on how these ravines are classified. We can come in with an 8-lot subdivision next time I see it. But it's a starting point. It gets it on the table, and it gets us to start talking to other agencies.
Yeah, you have two valleys running through this, converging I think, one from, the Sylvan Lake development.
Yeah, and you know, if you look at, you know, that Beekman Road has been in existence for how long, right? And you have that major drainage ravine there, and there's a 15-inch pipe at the end.
Yeah.
You know, if that thing was running full bore all the time, there would be a box culvert there, right? So the water is getting in the ground, and just the sizing of the culvert.
What is the type of soil again?
Sand and gravel.
Yeah, sand and gravel.
Yeah,
There was
it is.
another, I was reading about it in the comment letter. I can't remember exactly. I was curious what the components of it were. But the interesting thing, to Jason's point, is that across the street on the corner, Semanas, you know, they've already treated a lot of the water based on the flows and the size of the culverts and pipes.
Yeah. So this would further.
This is going to change.
This should help protect.
Or help, yeah.
Give it even more protection.
Yep.
Because what our plan of attack was is to try to, again, keep our water and treat it, and then anything that comes around us, try to pick it up and get it away from our neighboring two residential properties down below us and the intersection, and try to wrap it around. There's enough elevation to make it work on paper.
Right.
But, you know, obviously we have to go through the iterations and see where we end up. And it's.
Who's the developer on this? Who's the developer on this?
It's the just random developer that is out of Rockland County.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, when you get closer to knowing the areas of disturbance, right, obviously, we want to have the tables for tree removal and mitigation.
Right.
All right, you're familiar with that.
Yeah, we'll go
And
anything above 12 inches.
My,
I think it's, isn't
Is it 8 inches?
yeah, everything over 8 inches. Yep. Now, agricultural, you're seeking an agricultural use permit?
You know, Dan brought it up in the EAF. It's the first time I've come across that, so I talked to Dan about it. We're going to seek clarification on the actual designation of that.
So is this something that the developer is seeking, agricultural status?
No.
No, oh, all right.
No.
I was
I think it
curious
just-
about that.
I think it just popped up on the mapper for some reason, and there's a conflict. I mean, the EAF mappers are not
Right.
necessarily 100%, so we're not seeking any special
Okay,
designation,
all right,
classification.
that was my question.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's,
For all intents and purposes, it's development and houses get sold, I'm assuming, something like that?
right. In talking to the applicant, I think his model is more trying to get it approved and sell it as a package to another developer. As far as home building, they haven't expressed interest in actually doing the home building and putting the road in. It's more of, right now, I mean, things could change, but just selling it as a package as an approved plan, which, you know, believe it or not, there was very little inventory as far as lots before COVID, and then after COVID hit, there's really not a lot of inventory out there, so I think from his standpoint, he was looking to sell it as a block to a home builder.
Gotcha.
The town engineer trying to determine if you are able to determine ag district status soon, whether it's in ag district 21 or 23, because the map changed in 2022.
Yeah, yeah. We'll get some clarification on that.
So, this, you're here for discussion, and you had brought this to us before, I think, I don't know, not last month, maybe the previous month, I forget.
It's actually like 8 months ago.
8 months ago.
That's how time flies.
Yeah.
He
I
hasn't
don't,
been here in a while.
yeah, yeah. You know, it still looks like the same plan, doesn't look like it's much different than the plan that you submitted to us, you know, 8 months ago. And so I still have all the same reservations. It's a completely wooded lot. You're talking about 26 houses. The houses, the septics, the drainage, it's going to require more drainage runs. It's going to just rip the hell out of that site as far as, you know, and then it's on a steep site, so there's a lot of steep slopes. And I know, I appreciate you're trying to, you know, strategically locate the houses in the septic to avoid the slopes, but you're still going to be disturbing them when you have to get, you know, dig the trenches back to get to the septic fields, And I just think there's a tremendous amount of impact here at this level. And I don't know if this is a negotiation that you're going to start high, we go low, and, you're bringing the same plan to me, so I'm going to go even lower than before. If you're going to keep high, I'm going to stay low. Let me just keep it in professional terms. It seems to be a lot of impacts to wooded areas, to steep slopes, potentially to the streams. And so I want to just be honest with your applicant that this is going to be a hard go for me, okay?
Right, so, again, we got to start one with DEC and see how things shake out. I could be coming back to you with an 8-lot subdivision, with a small cul-de-sac, you know?
Yeah.
It's a starting point. What's changed since we've last seen you is that the original site plan we did was based upon USGS, it was online information. This is actually real survey information. It took a while to get between boundary and topo. So, you know, that's the reason why it looks similar is because we actually have a real physical survey now. But again, we understand your concerns. Again, this is step one of many, and we'll see how we shake out.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. And, if you're willing to move forward, and that's, I can't stop you from expending your resources, but what I am seeing, and I'm glad you did show this, is an elevation for the road profile. So I'm guessing it's going to be your intention to dedicate the road to the town. That's a very steep incline. I think our highway department's going to be interested in looking at that.
Yeah, I mean, we're within the guidelines of town highway required for road grade, so we're under the 10% threshold. That is the max required, I think, for 2% of the cul-de-sac, and then at the entrance, we're meeting whatever DPW requires. So, understood, the code is there for us to design around, so we did incorporate that into the road.
All right.
For the record, I'm going to echo Rob's sentiments. I feel the same way.
I think the town engineer is recommending action as follows. He's recommending that the planning board make a motion to direct the applicant to commence the wetland jurisdictional determination process with the Army Corps of Engineers. So if you move forward with so inclined, you can make a motion directing the applicant to start the process.
I thought we were just at the discussion.
We have to go through our agencies, and we got to figure out classifications. So this is just allowing us to talk to Army Corps and talk to DEC. I think it's just a formal acknowledgement that we're reaching out to those agencies before we circulate.
I got you.
Under any particular state, county?
I think you're overthinking it. It's just a trail.
Gotcha.
It's existing permission plan, so it's just a trail.
Got it.
So, Craig, he just recommended.
I'd like to make a motion to direct the applicant to commence with the wetland JD process and determine the agricultural district status.
Very good.
Okay,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good night, Brian. Okay, Savannah Estates. Okay. There we go. Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Amy, I'm from the LRC Group. I'm the project planner.
Thank you.
So we've obviously gone through this with you guys before. We were last in front of the board in December, in which we received our preliminary plat approval.
Yes.
Since then, we've been working through Department of Health and DPW comments, and we've gone back and forth with them a couple times. We've received our well test application approval, So that's partially worked through with the Department of Health as far as the process with them goes, and we're working towards full approval still. We have one outstanding comment with the DPW, just regarding adding our sightline easements to the plan, and we are going to get back to them very shortly. We expect to really resolve everything with these two departments within the next month or so. But we're here in front of the board tonight to request tree felling prior to the DEC deadline of March 30th. We just think it would be a really tight timeline for us to get Department of Health and DPW approval and then come back in front of the board for final plat approval before this deadline for tree removal. So we've submitted the tree felling plan, a restoration plan, and a cost estimate. We received Dan's comments, and we were able to revise the plans and the cost estimate and get it back to him today. We spoke with him just briefly before he left the meeting, and he advised that he is good with the cost estimate and address any questions that the board may have, and just work with Craig on the bond agreement.
Yes. This is your realm.
Yeah, no pressure.
No.
Well, well, I'm just a little confused.
Sure.
And thank you for waiting. I know you're close to the end of the agenda. Appreciate that.
No, we appreciate being put on.
Yeah. What was it that you're waiting for, DEC?
So there's a tree clearing deadline that
Oh, no, I know that.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you were saying you're finalizing a couple of approvals. What were they?
DOH and DPW.
And DPW. Okay. Okay, so, yeah, no, we're all aware of that. Well, in case you're not aware, there's a DEC window now that applies to almost every project.
Okay.
And it's to protect the Indiana bat. So they're limited to any tree removals between a certain window, and that's like...
October 1st and March 30th.
And they've been identified on your...
Between October and March 1st.
I'm sorry?
They've been identified on your parcel there?
It's just like throughout Dutchess County.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that you could, you used to be able to identify whether there's the ability for that habitat to happen.
Like bog turtles, I
And then
thought.
you
Yeah,
may not be subject-
we had Mike Nowicki go out to the site and, yeah, but it's just like a standard
Now it's
practice
like a blanket
overall for
coverage?
I'm sorry?
Now it's blanket coverage, like there's...
Yeah, it's just a mitigation.
Regardless of whether you find out that there's no chance for that bat habitat, you still have to...
Yeah, it's for mitigation purposes, standard by the DEC for that October 1st to March 30th
They're probably hard
practice
to
for
see.
tree clearing.
So they want to make sure,
Yeah.
is what it is. Yeah.
Well, they show up between like April and the end of September.
Right.
And so we don't want to take any chances with
No.
cutting trees
Yeah.
down then.
Right.
So what other things did we have to do with this application other than, we had given them preliminary plat, do you recall, Craig?
Yeah, that's done. We're just allowing them to fell trees before that breeding and nesting period.
Correct.
Right, and we provide the cost estimate should anything not, like if the project should not move forward, there's a plan in place and money aside for restoration purposes.
So you can direct the applicant to submit a performance bond agreement for legal review, and this board and the town board has to ratify that.
Right, because once we approve, if we weren't doing this and we had a subdivision, they would submit a performance bond when they proceed with the subdivision.
Yeah, as a condition.
But because they're proceeding ahead of time,
Yep.
then we're not covered by a performance bond, so.
Yep, and Dan did indicate that he's satisfied with the new and improved performance bond estimate for the trees. I don't know if you have that.
Yeah, I was just, trying to recollect if there was any other open issues from our side.
No.
I mean, I know we were very happy with the plan at
Yeah.
the last meeting.
Remember the conservation section and the trees and everything that you came up with? That was
Yeah,
pretty
they
brilliant.
reduced the impacts. They do the work. I'm always hesitant of giving, like, we have a lot of conditioned approvals out there that are still not done, and this is even like prior to a condition
Well, if
approval.
it eases your mind, this is so it doesn't delay the project from happening. Being able to fell the trees before the deadline allows them to proceed with any site work and construction once we get approval. But if we don't fell the trees before the deadline, then they'll have to wait until October to do that and lose 6 months.
Yeah.
Would you be waiting anyway, because the health department permit might take that long? When do you anticipate the health department permit?
We anticipate resolving with the DOH and DPW within about a month or so. So we'll have to wait until we get, we just got the approval for the well test application. So now they can go in and dig their test wells and do the testing. We submit that back to the Department of Health. They give us sign off and then they can proceed to do final approvals.
To
And we
clarify,
normal-
that
we norm-
estimate is for restoration.
Right.
It's a restoration cost estimate. So they're mitigating.
That's
Right,
what-
so
yeah.
that's if the case happens where the project doesn't move forward, there's money aside to restore the property.
Yeah, you prepared this for the purpose of the basis of a bond.
Right.
Yep,
Now, the septic, you submit those simultaneously. Where are you at with that?
Sorry, Brittany from LRC as well. We are in the same location, like we've submitted to Department of Health. They haven't approved it, but they've approved the well. They're okay with the locations, it's just kind of fine tuning the technical details of it now. So they're okay with all the locations, we've gone and tested everything, so it's just a matter of the final sign off.
All right. It sounds like your approvals are imminent, and so I don't think I'd have any objection to allowing them to
I don't.
proceed. We have a legal way of doing it, it's something we can allow.
Yeah, we've done it before with Greenhaven.
Jason, any concerns?
I was just going to ask if we've done it before.
Greenhaven,
Greenhaven?
Did we?
Yeah.
solar, yeah.
We let them do trees early, okay. All right. So what would we have to do? Just make a motion to,
Approve the restoration, and refer it to the board, the town board? For,
Let me see.
you have the
to
comment
approve
letter there,
them.
don't you? Let me see where, my pile got very confusing. Let me see.
Samantha.
yeah, I would want you to install that construction fence though, so that we can ensure that they're not expanding beyond the areas of disturbance.
We did take that off initially, so we put it on for them to be able to stay in this area, but in further discussion, to be able to bring trees from one side to the other, it would just make sense to leave it open. We are doing safety fences.
Do you have a copy of Dan's comment letter there?
So those are gonna be, installed.
For Samantha?
Yeah.
And we are gonna have all the trees that are being removed marked out prior to that.
So is this is a Hall
Oh,
Road you're
it's an
showing
email.
on there?
I have that. Thank you.
Yeah, he didn't have a.
No, okay.
Information based on, what other existing trees, so they can field verify it, and if they need to avoid one tree, then they can.
So it would be a motion
Yeah.
to
So,
accept the restoration bond estimate and direct the applicant to file a performance bond agreement for legal review.
I don't have that kind of memory.
I don't either.
Can I read your text?
I'll never remember that.
Can you,
Yeah, yeah.
can
Why don't
you
run it?
ventriloquist it to me?
That's what.
All right, here we go. Okay. Okay, so a motion that will will be an inspection escrow set up as well as that a performance bond agreement will be prepared and approved by the town board. Is that how you'd like it to read?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second. Are you making that motion?
I guess I can I? Yeah. All right. Jason, any amendments or discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
So Greg, just one question for you. What's the time frame of getting this completed, and will we be able to
Start tomorrow.
start tomorrow? Because
Yeah, because
the meeting got moved
The
into
plan-
March.
The town board meeting is, I think, March 4th.
I think it got canceled and moved to the 6th.
Yes.
It was supposed to be the 25th, so next week. It's March 4th. March 4th? Okay.
Yeah, so the inspection was, the intent is to pay the town's professionals for any oversight of the tree felling. We expect that we would visit the site when the fences are installed and the construction entrance is in place, and the trees are marked for removal. We expect that we may enter the site during the felling operation. We expect that we will enter the site when the felling is complete. We expect that there would be future site visits from time to time during the time after the trees are felled until the plans are signed, or if there are any complaints from residents.
I'll give you my contact information, because you're gonna need a template,
Okay.
all right, which I'll help you out with. And you're gonna have to attach the restoration schedule as an exhibit,
Okay.
all right? And,
Will we need to present at the meeting at all, or attend?
that wouldn't be a bad idea, but, I'll see if the board would probably want an explanation.
Okay.
And assurances that, the town won't be left, you're not gonna be abandoning, there's sufficient security there in the event that there was a default.
Okay, understood.
Also, the town engineer just wanted to mention that a performance, actually, an inspection escrow setup will be set up for the town engineer for future inspections.
Okay.
It's in chapter 75 of the.
Yeah.
of the code.
Okay.
And that's all on that email he sent that you have.
Yep.
Yep, all right, great. Thank
Is
you.
that it?
Yep, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I buried my agenda. Here we go, okay. All right, so the last item is an extension request for Barton Orchards Farm Market. Now, I guess they're not here, no representative. I read the email there. Would you like to weigh in on that? Are you prepared, or you need a minute?
Yeah, I need to see Dan's email on that one.
I got it here. I don't know if the board had a chance to read this. Would you like me to repeat this email?
I read it.
You read it? You good?
Is this in here?
No.
No,
No.
it was an earlier email from Dan.
Yeah.
I think I did read it, actually.
Okay, so,
Dan's recommending a 6-month extension.
yeah, 182 days. Yeah, is
It's a
what he,
tight timeline.
yeah. They're having the well water tested. The existing, they're contemplating drilling a new well. So, they're not sure yet, I
Yeah,
guess.
there were inconclusive or incomplete tests and some other items that were outlined in the email.
Yeah, some extensive testing. So, basically, the extension is to August 21st, 2025, or 182 days.
August 21st, you said?
Yeah.
So should we just make a motion?
Oh, I just,
Well, the confusion is that Dan sent this email to them requesting that they revise their request.
Yeah, I think that they had lowballed, and he wanted,
Yeah.
he didn't want them to have to come back repeatedly to ask for extensions.
Right.
He wanted to give them a 6-month.
So being that we haven't heard back from them, if we approve it for what Dan is suggesting, and they're ready to start earlier, they can always...
They can always advance.
Yeah, so my recommendation is that we go with Dan's suggestion.
100%.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So, here, since I have the email open, so, an extension to, the motion is to extend this application to August 21st, 2025, or 182 days.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay,
Motion passes
all right.
for the extension.
Very good. So the next planning board meeting is Thursday, March 20th, and the submission deadline is March 3rd, 2025. Very good. Motion to close?
So moved?
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.